So then Raya asks Shin, so does your dad know that you're dating anyone? Shin says yes, he does. Raya says, does he still want to meet me? Shin pauses and says, kind of.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
So then they're making small talk, and this is what Shin's little brother said. 아빠는 이제 라야가 딸이에요? Which means, Dad, is Raya your daughter now? Stop! So he looks at his son, he looks at Shin, and all he says is, what's up, idols? It's CC Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel. So you guys have been asking, nay, demanding a part 2 to Raya and Shin's story, and she delivered via email the other day. She said, I want to thank your viewers for all the sweet messages, and I hope they find the next part just as entertaining. 감사합니다, 여러분. So we're gonna get into the second part of the story, aka what happens when Raya met Shin's family for the first time. If you have no idea who Raya and Shin are, I suggest watching this video. It gets into all the details about when they first met on Bumble, dance studios, hooking up, meeting the family. Did I say hooking up? A little Netflix and chill, and how it turned into this beautiful romance that they have going on right now.
Everything is different now that I see.
As always, please watch until the end of this video. Audience retention is key to promoting my channel across this platform. And every time you guys do deliver, I get notifications like this on YouTube Studio. It's all because of you.
And it's all because of you.
One more thing, if you like story times like this, I put together a whole playlist of story times, not only from me, but also from viewer submission. These story times are about dating and clubbing and just existing as a foreigner in Korea and Japan. So for this story time, we'll pick up where we left off. So remember, the last story ended after a night of passionate lovemaking. First on the couch, then in the shower. And they woke up and went to lunch. They went to this beautiful scenic rooftop spot for lunch, and he formally asked her to be his girlfriend. After it was revealed to Raya that Shin's mom was the one who sent that text telling him to go for it if he liked her, she wanted to know what would happen if she said no and she didn't approve of it. She was already a bit worried and anxious, not only about being in an international relationship, but an interracial relationship while being in a foreign country for the first time ever. Speaking of anxious and worried, before we get too deep into the story, I really want to thank today's sponsor, BetterHelp. I am so grateful to have the chance to share this opportunity and this offer with you guys. If you've seen any of my videos, or if you're a longtime viewer, you know mental health is something that is really important to me. We talk a lot about the anxiety, the loneliness you feel abroad, and all these issues that people kind of just sweep under the rug, and it should not be that way. Therapy is criminally overpriced and just not widely available enough. For those who don't know, BetterHelp is a 100% online therapy service, which means it's incredibly flexible. It's their mission to make therapy more affordable and accessible. You don't have to worry about the traffic, going to an office for your sessions, or commuting to far places to even find a therapist. There's already enough difficulties with scheduling time between work, school, and adulting. BetterHelp offers access via live chat, video call, phone call, and even text messages. It's a very affordable solution offering professional services. Therapy is normal and helpful and healthy. Whether you need someone to listen to you, offer you guidance, challenge you, or other services they offer, you'll be matched with a therapist who suits your needs. We often feel lost in life, like we're not living up to our potential. We feel anxious, we feel alone, we feel depressed. With BetterHelp, you don't have to feel like that anymore. So you can click the link in the description if you want to get matched with a therapist. Not only does clicking on this link help support me and my channel, it also helps get you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. So finding the right therapist is kind of like dating, where, you know, it might not work out with the first person you meet, but unlike the traditional route where you have to go through insurance and all these other complications, you can keep switching a therapist until you find the one that's right for you at BetterHelp. Thank you again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. So back to the story. Raya was naturally concerned, deeply concerned about being accepted in Korea with this Korean man. So Shin explained, you know, the whole mindset of Korean elders. And it's nothing she didn't already know, it's nothing she hadn't heard before, but she wanted to try and understand it a little bit better. He said these days elders are more and more accepting of their children's hearts. The average Korean elder does seem to support the idea of Korea opening its borders and welcoming foreigners and tourists. And also Korea is very interested in expanding their influence. We see it in K-pop, we see it in Korean dramas, we see it in Korean movies and entertainment, and appliances and tech like Samsung and LG, Hyundai, Honda, Daewoo even.
You just got killed by a Daewoo Lanos, motherfucker!
But one thing he did say that I have heard many times is every Asian, like from their country, feels like their Asian is the superior Asian. Here's what I mean. If you ask a Chinese person, they say like China is the best. They're genetically different from everybody else. They're better than everybody else. The same goes for like Korea and Japan, for example. So to Korean elder, ideally they want to keep Korea and keep Korean purely Korean. What? Every generation tends to be more liberal than the one that preceded them. So another concern that Raya had, at this point they'd only even known each other for like 3 weeks. So she's like, wow, nobody knows about you. Like, I didn't really expect this to go anywhere. I had family, my friends, my parents, no one really knows, and you're already talking to your mom about me. It's a little bit of pressure, but also it indicates to her that he's serious about her. So Shin did ultimately say that if his mom didn't approve, that it would be difficult but not impossible to proceed with Raya. He said he truly believes his parents would come around eventually and he would just wear them down over time. So Shin said he didn't want to cross that line with Raya until he knew he had his mom's approval, which is why the weekends leading up to them being a couple, he was kind of cock-blocking himself. That's somehow so wholesome. So Raya's like, okay, well now that we're an official couple, does that mean I'm gonna actually meet your parents? He's like, oh, of course, my mom would absolutely love to meet you. So Raya nervously asked him about his dad because all this time, you know, we've heard my mom said this, my mom feels like this, my mom wants to meet you. So she's like, oh yeah, Shin, so like, what about your dad? So then Shin pauses and says, let's talk about that another time later. Some BS is about to go down with his dad. So it's assumed that Raya looked uncomfortable or anxious or distressed in some way because he tried to cheer her up. He's like, but you get to see my little brother again and he's so cute, remember, right? You really like how cute my little brother is. And he laughs and she's like, yeah. She gives like a nervous laugh like, oh yeah, okay, cool. So they finish up their lunch and head to their respective homes to prepare for the upcoming work week. Raya admitted that a lot of what Shin said stuck with her mind. I was about to say brain and mind, and it became that. She couldn't really sleep comfortably. She couldn't stop thinking about it and overthinking about it and just wondering like, why is it so hard to just be accepted? And like, I like him, he likes me, that should be enough. Race mixing is so wrong, right? So she decided she wanted to go to school the next day and talk with her co-teachers and co-workers about the situation and get their take on it as other Korean nationals. Yeah. When Raya got to work the next day, she had flowers waiting for her. I'm gonna throw up. I need them to stop because this shit is way too fucking cute. It's annoying. So Shin sent her flowers with a note that said, because I like you, my family will love you. Have a good week at work and don't worry too much. One thing I really like about them is I feel like he's really good at knowing how she's feeling and what she's thinking about. Like even in the last story time about them, he seems to know what's on her mind and tries to, you know, cheer her up or fix the situation or make her feel better. That is so blah. So her fellow teachers are like, oh my god, Raya, like who sent you flowers? This is so crazy. Like you didn't tell us you had a boyfriend. She's like, yeah, I didn't until yesterday. This is all happening really fast. We met 3 weeks ago. So they asked like, oh, is he Korean? She's like, yeah, he's Korean. And then she's like, you know, this is a perfect segue because I wanted to talk with y'all about this today. She wanted to bring up foreigners and family and discrimination and things like that just to get their take on it. And yeah, they pretty much said exactly what Shin said the day before. It's an elder thing. They want to keep Korea pure because Korea is superior. They always like, it's our parents thinking, it's the elders thinking, but we don't think that way anymore. And I think our parents are starting to see the benefit and integration and all that stuff. So it was, you know, she felt a little better that it wasn't just Shin saying this, but other people kind of verifying that point of view. I don't know what it is, but I feel like Korean teachers are the absolute sweetest people in Korea. I only worked at 2 schools, well 3 if you count last summer. But the staff is always so nice, so friendly, so welcoming, so helpful. They invite you to dinner, they invite you to events and functions, they help you adjust to your life abroad. Even my friends have all had, for the most part, very good experiences with their coworkers, and their friends are their coworkers. It's amazing. So she finished her workday, she got home, she didn't hear much from Shin, but she assumed, you know, he was just busy and he'll get back to me when he can. And the next day, he calls her and asks her if they'd like to go out that weekend for a picnic. I'm gonna throw up. They're so cute. So now fast forward to the picnic date on the weekend. Raya is picked up by Shin and his little brother. So naturally, because they're around a kid, he asks her how many kids she wants, where she wants to raise them, if she'd be open to raising them in Korea. And he just gets so serious so fast. I'm noticing a pattern with this boy. She says she doesn't want any more than 2 kids and she'll raise her kids wherever her parents are. So she's open to wherever life takes her. And naturally, Shin loved that response. He leaned in and kissed her. And mind you, they have the little brother there. So he goes, ew, and like just makes them all laugh. So Shin decided to ask his little brother what he thinks of foreigners being in Korea. I feel like he did this, you know, just to get even a younger person's perspective. He got like Shin's, what's the word? Generational perspective, her co-workers. What about a young little boy? He's only like 6 or 7, by the way. He's a child. I think deep down Shin knew his brother was gonna say some real cute shit that just made Raya feel so much better.
제가 핸드폰을 전화번호 알고 싶었어요.
So his brother says, I think it's exciting, it's good. Foreigners leave their home to come to Korea. They teach us English, I'm so thankful. We can learn from each other. I love pizza. That's not Korean, and I'm happy. Can I adopt him? If y'all watching, can I adopt him? Does he need an auntie? He's still going on about this pizza. If you remember the last story time, that pizza made him so happy. He just loved pizza. So Raya says she can't lie. That's definitely what she needed to hear. You know, just even, you know, it's her job to be an English teacher too. So like to see that some of these kids really appreciate what she does, the sacrifices that we make as teachers to leave our home and everything we know to go teach them abroad. She's able to sit back and recline, watching the sunset with Shin and his little brother and just enjoy whatever's coming. Not overthink it, just relax and enjoy the ride. So now we fast forward six months later. At this point, Shin and Raya have gotten so close together. They take little road trips on the weekends in their free time. They dance together still. They've taken local trips around Asia, join each other's company, planning for the future, just good, healthy relationship stuff. Speaking of planning for the future, at this point, Raya still has not met his parents yet. And there's a reason for that. We're about to get into it. Shin believes that Sonal, or Lunar New Year, would be a good time for him to finally meet the family. Shin said that his mom had been planning this and she really can't wait. So Raya wanted to ask about his past relationships, like, oh, you know, out of curiosity, have you brought other exes home to meet your parents before, or am I gonna be the first? Because TBH, deep down, she didn't want to be the first girl that Shin brought home because that's a lot of pressure. He said that he had dated many Korean girls through the years, and he did have one other foreign girlfriend, and that is the other girl that he brought home to meet his parents. So Shin got all serious again and said that it didn't go so well with his dad and the foreigner ex. She ended up leaving Korea suddenly and broke Shin's heart, and his dad did not take that well. He said that was one of the reasons he asked his mom for advice, because he didn't want to make the same mistake again. That's another reason he asked Raya, like, so where do you see, you know, us raising kids? Like, would I have to move to where you live, or would you be willing to stay here? Because he wanted to make sure these things were known before it got too serious. After the last sudden breakup with the ex-foreigner, Shin's dad said, "This was proof you should be with a Korean girl, and I hope this is a lesson you learned."
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
So after hearing that, Raya does suddenly wish, oh shit, I wish I was the first girl that he brought home to meet his family, because now they're going to be comparing her to me. It was a bad experience and they're going to expect the same bad experience from me, and that's not fair. One good thing they have going for them is at this point in their relationship, they've already been together longer than Shin was with his ex, so there's a bit of a time advantage, I suppose. If they were together like 7 months now at this point, that means he brought the last girl home to meet his family before that 7-month point. Damn, bro, slow down.
Slow down, grab the wall, wiggle like you're trying to make your ass fall off.
So then Raya asks Shin, so does your dad know that you're dating anyone? Shin says yes, he does. Raya says, does he still want to meet me? Shin pauses and says, kind of.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
So apparently, this whole plan that his mom devised was to do like a surprise meeting. His dad was away for business trips often, and luckily he was going to be able to make it home in time for Lunar New Year. So they figured, you know, he's away, he'll be tired. When he comes home, he won't have a lot of fight in him. Raya's like, nah, abort. I don't like that plan. That sounds real dumb. I don't want him to think that this was my idea. Out of curiosity, who out there thinks this is a good idea? Yeah, I didn't think so. Shin said that his mom knows his dad best, and if the mom thinks it's a good idea, then he thinks it's a good idea, and they should just go for it and hope for the best. So then Raya asks, why doesn't your dad want to meet me? Shin says, it's not that he doesn't want to meet you, he just doesn't want to meet you.
What do you mean by that?
What? He further explained and elaborated, he doesn't want to go out of his way to meet you. If he meets you by chance, that's fine, but he's not going to go to a restaurant to meet us for dinner. He's not going to come to my house to meet us for dinner. But if you're at his house, then you meet and it happens. So Raya reluctantly, nervously, and hesitantly agrees to this weird plan. She knows how important culturally Seolnal is to Koreans and Lunar New Year is, so she wants to make sure she knows everything, prepares everything, and doesn't offend, and makes a very good impression. So the dad comes back on a Friday prior to Lunar New Year. I think this year Lunar New Year was like on a Sunday. He still had some work to finish up before the holiday officially started, and he had his days off of work. So up to now, it is worth noting, Raya has never met his mom in person, but they have talked on the phone. Like if she's with Shin and then the mom calls Shin, she'll be in the background like, hi mom, and hi, nice to meet you, how was your day? And you know, they had like casual conversation. So Raya decided to ask the mom, hey, I don't want to like overstep, but am I allowed to wear a hanbok for this? You know, I want to make a good impression to show that I am willing to make that cultural effort. The mom says, oh my god, that would be an absolute great idea. I was going to ask you if you wanted to, but I didn't want to make you uncomfortable. The mom is staying in touch with Shin and Raya, letting them know when is a good time to come over. We're fast forward to the day of the meeting. Lunar New Year usually takes course over like 3 days or so. The family doesn't come over for every day all the time necessarily. So for this day, luckily for Raya, it's just gonna be the little brother, Shin, the mom and the dad, and her. So it's just the 5 of them. She don't gotta worry about meeting distant elders and bowing to the absolute elders of the family, the grandparents, Harmony, Haraboji. So they get to his parents' house. They're greeted happily at the door by Shin's mom. She's like, wow, oh my god, you look amazing in a hanbok, you're so cute. And the dad is sitting on the couch while, you know, the mom is greeting them. She's trying to speak English. So he's like, why is my wife trying to speak English? So he turns around and sees a foreigner under the arm of his son. And he's like, oh god, here we go again.
Oh shit, here we go again.
You know, the mom's going on like, oh, I appreciate your effort. You look so great. Thank you for coming. Welcome, welcome. And the little brother runs up and hugs Raya. And she's just like, oh, hi. He's like, you look so pretty. And, oh, I can't deal. They're so cute.
Ah, chills. Literal chills.
Now it's time to see what the dad's doing and thinking. So the dad gets up, walks to greet them at the door. And Raya gets prepared to do a deep, respectful bow. Like one of those deep,
안녕하십니까.
but before she can like get all the way down, he goes, 아니, 괜찮아. Like, don't get down, it's fine. So they settle for like one of those mutual casual bows. So far, so good, right? Shin's dad works overseas a lot and he actually speaks really decent English. Here's the thing, Koreans oftentimes, when they're really good at English, they like to show it off. They'll just start speaking English for no reason. They'll be like, hey, they could be with their Korean friends and be like, hey, want to see something? Go to a foreigner and be like, hey, how are you? And just be casual and cool because I can speak English. It's like a flex. So Shin was kind of hoping his dad would want to speak to her in English. That did not happen. So Shin says, hi dad, this is my girlfriend Raya. So in the email, this is what Raya wrote. No lie, he says, okay, and then just walks away. So, hi dad, this is my girlfriend. Okay.
Hi.
Okay.
So she looked at Shin's mom for some sort of like signal or indication. Like translate, what does that mean? Is that good? Is that bad? How are we doing so far? Shin's brother says, I'm hungry, can we eat now? So they all proceed to go and have some food. Raya's doing her best to be helpful, to be respectful, and she's looking over at Shin and he's just like giving her like, you're doing great. I love that. So then they're making small talk and this is what Shin's little brother said. 아빠는 이제 라야가 딸이에요? Which means, Dad, is Raya your daughter now? Stop. So he looks at his son, he looks at Shin, and all he says is, okay. What the fuck? So Raya decided to ask Shin's dad, like she's speaking English. She asked Shin's dad, do you have any questions for me? Is there anything you want to know about me or my background? And Shin jumps in to translate because he's thinking, oh, you know, just in case my dad doesn't understand what my girlfriend's saying. And Shin's dad goes, I understand, you don't need to do that. I was like, oh damn, goddamn. So then his dad says, no, not really. Maybe I'll have a question for you next year. So like, is that a win? Does that mean he thinks she'll stick around for a year? Does that mean he hopes she's around for a year? Does that mean this doesn't matter because you won't be here next year? Like, what does that mean?
Oh, I really wanna know. What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you guys think that means in the comments below? So yeah, their first meeting, he didn't really talk much aside from
Okay.
the first time that Raya met Shin's family. And she says since then, they've met up for dinner a few times. They've gone out to eat. So he's making an effort to get to know her. And he still jokes occasionally when he sees her like, oh, you're still here. You're still around. Somebody tell me why this man thinks that every foreigner is plotting to abruptly leave Korea and break his son's heart. That was one girl. It happened one time. So yeah, that's the tea and they're still going strong. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Thank you again, Raya. Look, y'all don't understand. She responded so quickly. I posted the video last week on like Tuesday and in the comments you guys were like, oh my god, we need part 2, please give us part 2. And she, within a few days, she got everything ready. So thank you, Raya, so much. Like seriously, I was excited to hear the update. I hope everybody else enjoys this update. Thanks for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong.